Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud
and Famous Dave.
And this is Double Agents, episode 4, Duplicity, watched by 0.82, which is a climb from previous episode, 0.79.
That's a bit surprising, seeing how they took a week off. I figured the ratings would be really low. Just because of anger, people not knowing if the show's going to be on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But maybe it's one of those things where it's like, absence makes the heart grow fonder and shit. Where they're like, I really miss that fucking trashy show. So where is it? I want to see more.
The problem is they took off a week unannounced. They don't have an episode. Then they finally come back with an episode. And then we get this episode, which was probably the worst we've had all season. And people like next week's ratings are going to be in the tank. I guarantee it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, this was okay. So this was a bummer in terms of like, I don't know. I think this is the way I see it. The Fessy heel turn is almost worth Nelson. The Nelson death scene or whatever, where you're like, no, but Fessy being like, we're just going to burn the house down. Like I'm the biggest guy here. I just finally got my gold skull. What are you guys going to do? He really, I don't think he cares. I feel like he's so full of himself where he truly believes. He's like, dude, I'm like Thanos with the fucking glove, man. I just, and I finally got the diamond. I'm in the final already. Right.
Yeah. I think Fessy, the thing is he's doing this like, I don't care. I'm not afraid of anyone. It's like, but you wouldn't go into elimination against Joseph. Like, what the fuck just happened? Like, before he's scared and now he's okay with it. I think Fessy knew in his mind that he wanted to go into the hall brawl. And that's what it was. And he knew because he had done it against Nelson last year. He's like, I can beat anyone in a hall brawl. He's like, any other type of elimination, I'm scared of it. But a hall brawl, that's my thing.
That wasn't Fessy last year, was it? I thought that was Kyle versus Nelson last year.
No,
wasn't it?
Yeah, when
what?
Wasn't it?
Whoa. I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I think no. I think it was Kyle. Yeah, look that shit up. But But you mentioned how he was, like the hall brawl came up, and I think to him, Fessy is like, some women are like, I have a specific way I would like to be proposed to, like you're not just going to propose to me this way or that way, the sun has to be just right. Fessy was like, I'm going to go in, and it is going to be physical, but I'm a little bit more nuanced than that. It has to be a hall brawl to make this perfect. You know what I mean? Like he was very particular and he was very touchy about it. But how he got it is interesting too. It's actually the beginning of the notes where like Fessy likes Tori. Yeah, it's all gonna feed into it. Okay, what do you got? Do you got results?
Okay, I'm looking it up right now. It was
medical results, positive. Dave's like, you just fucking said a joke about being medically positive, so I'm just gonna leave you hanging forever and make you pay for that. Or the video has frozen. Nope, he's moving. I don't know. Dave, let us know what happened. Where are we?
I'm looking on Wikipedia, but it's horribly set up and I can't really tell.
Ah, shit. Okay, well,
there's a giant grid of episodes and players, and it's very confusing.
I think the main thing is, though, that no, this was a betrayal. Had he gone against Nelson previously, this wouldn't be considered a betrayal. That's the thing that made this even dirtier besides his tactics inside the actual hall. He blindsided his own friends, Yeah, so it wasn't him last season. I believe it was Kyle. I really do. It was, or no, it was the other British bloke. What's his name? The guy who I'm like, thank God he's not here, but when he is around, Rogan. Didn't Rogan beat Nelson last year in Hall Brawl? I
Did
believe
he?
it was.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking
yeah,
of. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Because
mean,
according to Wikipedia, Nelson got to the final and he got in 5th place. So it doesn't make any sense. But I'm like, Nelson didn't make the final. So I'm confused by what the hell. It was total madness last year, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was
Yes.
looking up.
Yes.
Okay,
Huh.
yeah. I'm thinking of the Rogan one, is what I was thinking. Because that was
Right.
the one
Yeah.
where Nelson sacrificed himself for Corey.
Yeah. Yeah. They're kind of interchangeable in a sense. They're both big, kind of douchey guys. They're like, we don't care. We're here to win, and we're going to win, and shit like that. You know, they're very confident and very much larger than little Nelson. Although Nelson's not that little. Come on. We were talking about heights before we started recording this. How tall do you think he is? What's his tail of the tape?
He's probably only like 5'10". Nelson.
Only 5'10"?
Yeah.
That, you know what? I don't think I wouldn't even give him that. I'm thinking 5'9". Yeah, I want to say that. Too bad that can't be looked up on any platform, right? But hey, let's start from the beginning, though.
Challenge Nelson, okay. And we'll see what it says.
It's just they're like, here's your this is him being scared of heights in a particular challenge.
This says Corey is 5'7". Is that true? Is Corey
5'7"?
little?
You know what? Wes is like 5'8", I think. And then Bananas, he's not that tall either, dude. He's like,
no, Bananas is short.
Yeah. There's not a lot of tall guys when you think about it. CT, Josh, Fessy. Yeah. Darrell, I think Darrell's tall.
This says he's 6 feet tall. Nelson is 6 feet tall. Which
no,
I don't buy.
Way.
I don't buy that.
No,
I don't think that's what that random website.
That would make Fessy like 7'8" or something like that.
Yeah. Well, remember when they said Fessy was 6'7", and it was like, no, Fessy's not that tall. Fessy's like 6'4". It's not.
You know what this sounds like to me? Tabloid talk. Let's begin with the episode, and basically it's remember they're in a hot tub situation. Tori is sitting, not even in the hot tub, maybe her legs are, and Fessy's sitting in the hot tub, and he's like, hey man, Tori's hot, she's attractive. And finally, Jordan's not around. Maybe I could get it in or something like that. I don't know.
But
something not as crude as that.
Yeah, Fessy says, but I know she's with Jordan, and I'm not the type of guy who's going to do anything, because I respect that guy code. And it was just like, Fessy, no, you have no game. If you wanted to do something, you wouldn't be able to do anything. So quit saying like you're not getting with her because you're respecting her boyfriend at home. You're not doing anything because you have no game.
Hold on. Oh my gosh, that's sort of that's a lot to unpack a little bit, because with you saying like he's got no game, that has been confirmed by Gabby, right? Like he tries to hit on her and she's like, exactly. Oh my god, no, right? But Are you saying you don't know the rumors of Fessy and Tori in real life?
Well, are they together now?
Well, they're traveling together, which is just so great. Thank you guys for spreading this shit around. But they've been like, photographed or whatever, just like on vacation with each other.
Are they super spreading across the world? Bastards.
Yeah. Oh, they're spreading it. Oh, they're gonna we're gonna spread in all 50 states, and then it's up to Canada. How many states does Canada have, eh? Who knows? But yeah, this is the thing. Province. Yeah. No, it's like a thing where like Tori was like, hey, we didn't hook up. I didn't cheat on Jordan, even though isn't that her MO? According to her exes.
She did the same thing against Derek, where Derek got voted out, and then her and Jordan were like kind of close to each other. And then like towards the end of the season, when Jordan get to the final, and then there's like some really long hugs that are like, oh, I think there's something going on here, but they never really show it. But you're like, okay, they're definitely together. Like she did not officially break up with Derek before she got with Jordan. And now she's
Yeah.
getting with Fessy before she officially broke up with Jordan. So,
Yeah, so I don't know.
Jordan, I don't feel bad for you because she did the same shit to her ex that she did to you. So you should have seen it coming.
Right. And okay, but this also two things could be going on. Either Fessy does indeed have game and it works on Tori, or Fessy actually wins this season because remember when did Tori hook up with Jordan? When he won Dirty 30. That's right.
Ooh.
She's one of those champion fuckers you hear so much about.
Did Fessy like work on his cardio because it was so bad, and he like the altitude just crushed him in last year's final. Like, I mean, he could have.
No
In the
altitude.
off season, did he go to the mountains in Colorado and just start hiking?
Who knows? But remember, it's basically indicated at the beginning of the episode that somewhere around that area will be the final because they're like, there's a hole with money in it. So I don't think they're going to go any higher than where they are now. I think it's just going to be another very cold final, but I don't think they're going to go any higher. That's my assumption.
Do you think they'll get rid of the altitude just to help out Fessy?
And CT, that's not going to help him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from that.
If they did something where it's like super endurance, high altitude, that's going to help out the guys like Nelson, Corey, the Jay, some of the
Why did you just bring up Nelson? He's gone, all right?
I know.
Get with the times.
I know, but when they're setting this stuff up, it's going to be before the season. They don't know who's going to be like eliminated yet.
Right. Onto newer pastures, greener pastures. Okay, so this is a really weird scene because Devin, Big T, Amber M, and Kyle are sitting there, and Devin's like, "Hey, what's the origin of Big T? Why do we have to call you Big T? It doesn't seem like you earn it at all, but yeah, tell us." And she's like, "Well, when I was younger, my life was horrible, and like my parents died and shit like that." But did she? I missed the part when she said, "And that is why I'm called Big T." Was it about what? Where did that come from? Did you catch it?
No, I don't.
It was
think
a big
she
tumor.
said while she didn't say why she was named Big T. She just went into the origin story of herself, not her name.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, what the fuck?
Such a crazy story. It was, I forget exactly what it was, but like her mom got diagnosed with like cervical cancer, and like her mom knew she was going to end up dying from the cancer, so then she put her up for adoption with like her aunt or her grandma or somebody. Moved to the UK, and then her dad died. Her mom, like, oh, it's terrible.
It was all just sad. So
I loved Big T before this, and now I have so much sympathy for her. She's great. Big T better win this with Fessy.
To me, that was a non sequitur. I'm like, where did that come from? He asked you, why are you called Big T? And you're just like, oh my God, feel sorry for me. And shit like that. So what happens though, which makes it even weirder, is all of a sudden Devin turns to Amber M, who she's like, man, that's wow. You've really had a life or whatever. Then he looks to Amber M and he's like, what are you doing here? Get out of here. I won. This is my night. Like he's kind of annoying. I don't get it. What prompted this? Did producers cut him or cut her saying a bunch of shit and then turned to Big T and said, hey, that was really sad what you just said, that story. You know what I mean? No, I think Devin's just, I don't know. I think he's drunk on power right now.
I think Amber M definitely said something and Devin didn't like it, but they just edited that part out. But at the same time, it's like Devin is completely like, if you want to talk about like people kind of being fake and playing into their own character that they have, that's what Devin's doing. And he's done it with Josh the last episode where he's just like yelling at him, what's 8 times 9 or whatever. And now he's just like, he's part of this scene where Big T is just like, just exposing all of like this information about her childhood, like this touching story. And Devin is like, oh God, feelings, he's just like, I can't be known as someone who's just going to sit here nicely. I have to like being an asshole. So he's like, well, I can't be an asshole to Big T. So Amber, you're right there. And then he just starts ripping into her like, what are you doing here? Get out of here. It was just like, it was very confusing. Like, why is he doing that?
Yeah, it was
He's being fake, I
uncomfortable.
think. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh shit. Well, okay, so the next morning, I think Amber M, she's just like, hey, Nelson, or whatever. She's like, hey, yeah, Devin fucking told me to walk away out of the room. He was being kind of rude. That's all. She wasn't crying at all, which is exactly what Nelson tells Devin. Remember, he's like,
Yeah.
hey, this is like Josh with CT. Remember, Casey's crying, literally crying tears. That's not the case. Why is this happening again? What's going on? There's something in the water, Dave, in Iceland. Ice.
Yeah. Nelson pulled the same thing as Josh did. But I love Devin because Devin's just sleeping and he's just like, what? Oh, I'm just leave me alone. Just let me sleep. And like he's, you know, you're just the hangover in the bed and you're just like,
Do you think he doesn't even remember? Do you think he was drunk, like almost like blackout drunk when he was like, Amber, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, who are you? This is my night.
He might
because
have
they keep on saying like he's a beer drinker. I'm like, what? No one else is, or maybe everyone else is liquor drinkers. Like I feel like liquor's stronger than beer, but maybe he drinks so much beer that he's able to be right there with them with the liquor. Yeah.
I think he's mixing
what
it
we're
up.
saying is, what we're saying is though, yeah, he was like hungover and just like, dude, get away from me. Like he is, again, he's kind of annoying because Nelson, despite totally overselling the fact that Amber M is upset, you know how loyal he is. We've seen that. We've seen him literally sacrifice himself for his friend Corey. You know what I mean? Like Nelson is just like fucking one of the most empathetic characters I've ever met. He actually shouldn't be on this show. He's too good of a person. Put him on like The Bachelorette. Is that with a bunch of dudes? Put him on The Bachelor. Let him be his own guy, and then everyone else pursue him. Yeah, I like it. It's fine. I'm just saying he's too good of a person, and to have Nelson and Devin clash like this, where Devin is kind of being a jerk, and in retrospect, Nelson's about to leave. It sucks that these two characters have this scene.
Yeah, Nelson's like you're saying, he's a super stand-up guy. He's just defending his partner. Where Josh gets into the situation, and Josh is kind of starting shit out of nowhere. Nelson, he's so genuine that you're like, he's just defending his partner. And, because Nelson, he already realizes like he kind of screwed up when he picked partners. And he's like, thought it'd be good to have a rookie, but now, but the rookie has no political ties and it's kind of a weak link. And all the girls are targeting his partner because she's the smallest one there.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's going to be a big thing. They're like, she's tiny. And then I should have known, Dave, that you were going to say, like, oh, Amber M probably ran her mouth, and they cut that out to make Devin look like a douche. I should have known that because you previously was like, Amber M's a two-face. She'll look good one moment and bad the next. You never know what kind of Amber M you're going to get. So I'm like, of course, Dave's a classic Amber M hater.
I'm not hating on her. But they definitely edited some stuff out of that scene. But I'm not saying that Devin isn't a douche. Like, Devin is totally a douche, and he's playing into it. Yeah. And it kind of gets to a point where Devin is kind of annoying because not only is he being a douche with Amber M, but you're seeing Devin doing this with Tori, where Devin and Tori, as partners, they're, we don't like each other, but we're partners. So now we're going to kind of just make, like, stupid little jabs at each other. And just constantly like little pokes at each other where they're dislike each other and they don't like each other, but at the same time they're working together and they're doing fine working together. So I don't believe any of this stuff where they don't get along. I mean, they're not friends, no, but I don't think they don't get along. Like they're working together fine. It all seems fake with Devin. Everything seems fake, and it's annoying because I really like Devin.
Yeah, me too. Like I am a Devin fan actually. If I were, until this episode happened, I was thinking like, who do I have to root for? Nelson all the time, and then like Devin, because Darrell, I know Darrell's good. I just don't have anything personally invested with him because he's always just hanging out. There's no storylines with him until he has to show up and perform. But I'm like, Devin, man, he's like, how is he going to balance this new power? And yeah, he's kind of disappointing me a little bit. But okay, so Tori is the same person. She's a performing for the camera sort of person, right? We won't deny that. She's definitely dialed it down in recent years because she's not doing the crazy faces and stuff. But those two, they are pretty good working together. In fact, if we're going to just bulldoze through this mission called drone control, they're going to win it, and they're going to be the only ones to actually perform it. It doesn't matter what they're saying. It's all for show. Like, they're going to just fucking perform, and no one's even going to get close. Right?
Yeah, like this is probably the worst mission I've ever seen ever in the history of the show. Like I cannot think of one that worked out worse than this one. The whole premise of using a drone inside of a cave does not fucking work. Drones are made to be driven outside. But instead they're like, no, we'll put them in a fucking cave and then they're just going to end up crashing into the wall and it's not going to work. And
right.
So the mission just basically just comes down to two people trying to do it, the drone not responding, the drone hitting the wall, and then TJ is there playing comic relief, like laughing at them, like, oh, you're not very good, are you? And it was the weirdest compilation, and it's just like team after team going in there and failing, same thing over and over, and it's like, didn't you guys test this and see if it was going to work or not? And if it wasn't going to work, you're like, hey, let's do it somewhere else. Maybe we'll put it outside, and then the puzzle or like the key, the answer key, you'll hide it somewhere. So you have to look around and kind of like find it and search for it or something. Do it a little bit differently than trying to fly a drone through a cave. This is a terrible idea.
Parts of me like it. It's just, yes, it probably would have worked better outside. Absolutely. And it does suck that everyone kind of fails and stuff, and it's probably going to get a bad rap. I can't think of any other mission. I mean, we've had missions where like the success rate was minimal, right? Like maybe one, maybe two people accomplished it in a cast of, I was going to say thousands, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Well, I also got to say before this though, TJ's like, hey, guess what? Liv is medically DQ'd. That was so uneventful. Just like, oh, she's gone. Mechie, you're a rogue agent, so this next elimination is going to determine your partner or whatever. But yeah, you said in the previous episode, you were like, why is it that what's her name had to leave right away, but they let Liv come back? And I think you disagreed. You were like, that doesn't make any sense. Why aren't we waiting for the results or something like that? I feel like you were onto something because obviously she wasn't healed up, right?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense that the reason that Liv didn't go home. And now it wasn't like, it was basically like them just trying to get Devin to get voted in, right? I feel like production was like, well, if we get rid of Nicole, then Devin has to go in. And they're like, this will be more exciting if he has to go in.
Yeah, that's right. Because if Liv were to leave, then they're like, oh, well, let's just throw in the easiest guy here, Mechie. He's the new guy. No one's going to feel bad. No one's going to make waves. This is the assumption that he'll probably have to go it. So, yeah, that changes a lot. That's more devious than I thought, Dave. Holy shit.
Yeah, they purposefully did this so that way they could spread it over 2 separate episodes so that we can be like, oh, a girl went home as a DQ. Let's have a guy's elimination. And then the other one was like, oh, there's a girl who's DQ'd because of medical. Let's have a guy's elimination. And they just somehow, even though it occurred at the same time, they spread it out over 2 episodes so they could just have 2 guys' days in a row. Which, it's weird because, like you said, there's more gold skulls going to guys than there are girls at this point. And it
Yeah.
so how are they going to remedy that? Like, I feel like the final should have equal number of guys and girls.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they'll have to. Yeah, because like, what are they gonna do? They're like, okay, for these next two missions, it's just gonna be straight up girls eliminations. That means, for 2 episodes, guys could just kind of sit back and like, yeah, we might win, we might not, but we don't have to worry or something like that. Or damn it, we don't get to work for any more skulls. Yeah, that is weird. Fuck that.
So
It's terrible.
I feel like something they're going to do in one of these episodes is they're going to have girls elimination, and then they're going to have 3 teams or 3 girls going to the elimination, where only one girl gets sent home, and then two of the 2 winning girls will both get gold skulls or something like that. So because they're going to try
Classic.
and spread out some gold skulls.
All right. Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
It's a
a
possibility.
good. Yeah, good troubleshooting on your end. See, you should be a producer, man. You'd be like, listen, guys, everybody fucking just calm down. My idea right there. 3-way ladies. Right?
Yeah, in the ring and wrestle.
One thing I do have to mention about the mission is that this is our very first true partner mission. The first one, it was just guys versus girls, and then the second one, yeah, they had to swim as pairs, but that's not how you won. It depended on like who you had an alliance with, who was voting or who was putting pills in each other's little chests, you know. And then the last one, it was wrestling. You were wrestling against, you weren't working together. You were separated. You were wrestling the dude, and she was wrestling the girl. So this is the very first time, as lame as it is, the very first time it's a true partnership. So that's
And they
why I think
screwed
this
it
is
up.
so much better. No.
It
Yeah,
could
they
have been
did. They
great.
did.
Like, it was the first time they're working together, but they screwed it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have
know.
nothing really to say about it other than it was super disappointing. And I'm watching it and I'm just thinking, like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Like, why are they doing this? Like, my girlfriend is like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen on this show. And she's seen, like, we've watched all the old seasons on CBS All Access. So we've
Nice.
seen, like, at least 15 seasons. And she's like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, yeah, it is. And she's like, I can't believe we had to wait an extra week to watch this.
Damn it. We were once going to have a segment called Brooke's Notes. It wasn't called that, but yeah, we were going to say like, hey, Brooke thought this about this, because we're like, we need a female perspective, like we're just fucking Y chromosomes over here. Is that correct? I don't know if I'm even using that correctly, but I'm just saying we're... Right. Yeah, it's a bunch of dudes, big old sausage fest over here, just talking about like, oh, remember it was cool and shit like that. I want the female perspective where they're like, oh my god, when Tori totally, no, not that. I mean like authentic analysis, So what else did she say? Is there anything of note where I'm like, yeah?
Not really. I mean, there's she hates Josh, but that's universal. That's guy or girl. Yeah. Everybody hates Josh. Fessy is a big bitch. He's big and tough, but he's a bitch. I mean, she can't be on the show because she's at work, and she also has stage fright, apparently. I invited her on, and she's like, no, I don't think I could do that because I have too much stage fright. I can't, like, talk in front of a big group of people. And I'm like, well, that's the beauty of the internet. I'm alone in my living room right now, and I'm not talking to anybody. And it's like, plus, like, only like these videos only get like 10 views, and I'm sure people probably just click off of it after 20 seconds, anyways.
That's what I'd like. That one constant in my podcast life where Dave is forever like, like I get excited about podcasts, and you do too at times. But when with the grand picture, I'm like, these things are great. You're like, I once got drunk with Vince and talked about this show. and sometimes I'm straight as an arrow
Well,
and talk about the show. It's no big
well,
deal.
that's what it used to be like back in the day. We would like, hey, did you watch the challenge? And we'd be like drunk at a bar, and we'd just be talking about like the last episode of the challenge. And then it was like, well, we should be recording these conversations. I was like, okay. So then we just got drunk at home and would record the conversations.
Yeah, it was easier to hear. Let's speaking of the bar, it's a perfect segue, Dave. Let's go to the club in quotes, that big dome or whatever. Now,
The greenhouse they have in the backyard.
oh yeah, the greenhouse. Yeah, exactly. I wish there was green there. It's just drinks, man. And I'll tell you this, there's no music. They don't own the rights to really show anything or to air any music, really. So when there is music, it's shit they had to pay for, and it's just overdubbed over all the footage. Really, they're in this neon dome, and they're just like, yeah, and they're just dancing. There's no music at all.
That's
So
'cause it's,
those
like,
moments where
edited
they're
out,
all
right?
no, it's not.
I think
Try and
they're
find some. Yeah.
I thought they were playing music, obviously for them, but they can't air that.
No, I think they don't play music because what would they have to find? They would have to find SoundCloud, put SoundCloud like, undiscovered creative hip hop artists and play their songs. You can't record any of that. I think it's easier for them to just kind of stand there in silence and make their own noise. That's why you see in parties where they're banging on pots and shit, because that's their only music that they have. You didn't know this? They don't play music in bars. I was going to say, and I'm willing to die
I had
with this
no
statement,
idea.
but I think so.
I had no idea. I figured they
think
would just
so.
use some sound editing and just edit out the music that was actually playing. There's no way they're doing all that stupid dancing, like they're doing like a Zoolander thing where they're walking the runway and they're like doing this turnaround.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I disagree. I think there's definitely music there, and I think they're editing it out. But whatever.
All right. That's fine. Let's just move on. Devin tells Tori. Oh, yeah. This is kind of annoying, too. Devin tells Tori he wants to throw in Josh because they have a conversation. They're like, Devin's like, name 3 people that you want to save, basically, right? And I'm going to name 3 people. And whoever's outside of that, that's what we're going for. And I don't think Tori included Josh. I think he was out of it. And that's when Devin was like, oh, well, I'm going for Josh or something, right? Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think it was too outlandish. I don't know.
Because the magical number of 3 worked out great because I think Tori has like 4 people she wants to protect. So that's why like the magical number of 3 was great because one of those people that Tori wants to protect, she's not going to be able to.
Okay. I didn't write down anyone who had each other's back. I don't remember actually. Do you by chance? No.
No, not accurately.
No. Maybe I think maybe Anissa was on Tori's list. They're buddies apparently.
I think Casey,
but either way,
possibly.
Casey, well, she's big brother.
Casey and Leroy.
Yes. So maybe I don't know. But let's go by with what we do know. What I have written down. So after this, when they get back to the house, when they walk that 25 feet back to the house, would that be weird for you, Dave? Just getting drunk in a little house and then walking back in, or is that basically those old farm parties? You get drunk in the farm or the barn, and you walk into the house and you fucking crash on the floor, man.
It's not cool. It's terrible for the show because it's way cooler if they go out to a club somewhere, and obviously they can't because of COVID. But this kind of just highlights that this part of the show they're trying to recreate it, but it just doesn't work because it's nice when you can go out to the bar, you can get drunk, you can see some bartenders, you can see some other people in the city that they're in, and at least like it gives you like, oh yeah, you're excited because you're getting out of that house. But this, they're not really getting out of the house. They're just going right over there. They know they're still trapped and confined. And you don't get that cool bus ride home where everybody's drunk and somebody like throws their spaghetti on the ground and, everyone gets upset about it. Like all that
Yeah.
shit. So it's such a bummer that they're kind of just stuck in there.
I have a solution. Put because this is it's not much of a difference because they have booze at the house, right? They could get drunk there. So what's the fucking point of just walking a few feet and drinking over there, right? How about you put all the booze in the crater? So immediately after you have an elimination, and Wes is like, all right, fucking peace out, guys. They cut and then they're like, come back in here, old school style. Remember when people would get eliminated, but they could come back into the house and they hug and they just pack shit and they have a nice send off. It's really fun. Remember Abram got fucking laid by fucking Veronica and Rachel? Remember on the Gauntlet? He had a 3-way after he got eliminated. He's like, wee, I should get eliminated more often.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, because they used to take people home the next day. Like in the morning, the van was gonna come and pick you up. So it was like, I'm going home, but you still get to party that night. Say your goodbyes to everyone.
Yeah,
and it was good for the show because you actually got legit goodbyes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's far more like we got to make sure that every angle looks like people hate each other constantly, when really that's not the case. Embrace the fact that they're having fun sometimes, and you don't have to focus on these stupid ass arguments, which is about to happen right now. So Tori goes back home. What she do? She sells out her own partner, goes to Josh, is like, hey, Devin wants to put you in. And then Josh is like, what the fuck? I want to just redirect my anger to Jay. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen since last episode, with Josh or whatever the fuck happened. It was horrible. He's like, Jay, you're giving off bad vibes. Isn't that? He said that.
Yeah, and Jay is sitting there just looking up at him, just like, like Jay, he's like, I don't even know what to say to him. He's just like this big dumb bear, and he's just like standing over him, like, because so Josh basically knows that like Jay is probably going to be one of the people who votes along with Devin, but Jay is not really picked a side.
No, that's the thing though, isn't it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like Casey is there right next to him, right next to all this. And she's like, Jay is with us, Big Brother. Even though he's a survivor, he's with us, Josh, but it doesn't matter, and yeah, it's very bewildering. But what I like is that Jay, like when Rogan would say, like, hey, I'm going to call you in. Eventually, Jay's like, okay, fucking do it. Holy shit, I'm not scared. I'm willing to go in. Let's fucking do it. You know what I mean? But he's just more like just weirded out that Josh is like, no, man. I fucking hated the scene so much, Dave. Make it go away.
I don't know. It was very similar to Nelson confronting Devin. Because Devin is just like, I'm asleep, leave me alone. That's what Jay was like. Jay was like, I'm just sitting here minding my own fucking business. He's like, Josh, we're not friends, so we don't really talk. So why are you coming up to me and talking to me right now? And he's just like, leave me alone. I don't want to fucking speak to you. Like, stop making, because there are people who like try to create drama on the show, like Josh, who are just manufacturing it. Devin does the same thing. They manufacture the drama. Jay is not that person. So when you start to manufacture drama, he's just like, I don't even want to talk to you right now. He's like, no.
There's a bit of, this is who I finally been able to nail this down, because I'm like, I kind of like Jay. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but this kind of helps it a little bit. Jay reminds me of Abram a little bit, where he's just kind of, he doesn't want to get into the drama thing. Because Abram, he always said, he's like, I don't watch the show. I just go on to experience, and like, I want to jump in water and heights and shit. Like, that's cool. That's an adrenaline boost for me. That's a wild ride. But he's like, I don't watch the show. It's on MTV. It's horrible. Filled with terrible cast members and shit like that. So I feel like that's kind of Jay, where he's like, I'm kind of beyond this. Like I'm in for the adventure and the adrenaline, but not this. Not this
He's not here
bullshit.
for the drama and the backstabbing and all that. He doesn't care about
Yeah.
that. He just wants to, do the missions and the eliminations and experience some cool shit.
Yeah. I mean, I might be wrong. I've never seen his Survivor. Maybe he was like Josh, and he's like, oh, Josh, you remind me of my younger self. Don't do that. Gross.
I
He's a
highly doubt. I
gigantic
haven't
baby.
seen it either, but usually on Survivor, if you're going to do well, you have to be good at, like the challenges they do. But then you have to just be like politically, you have to be very neutral. Like you can't be backstabbing people because that usually doesn't work out. You kind of have to just, be a person that everyone gets along with because you're not a drama starter. So
Okay, well then that makes me wonder for sure, especially in this episode, how the fuck did Fessy, how the fuck did Josh win Big Brother? I can't. I couldn't understand that at all.
did he actually win it?
Yeah, that's why he said that one time. He's like, Bear or Kyle or someone, Polly. He's like, fuck you. I got money in the bank for my win or something like that. He's got money because he won. I don't know how, honestly. I cannot stand that guy. Holy shit. It's like, for me, it's like him, Bananas, where I'm like, oh God, walk in the room and it's like radiation. I feel horrible. Like, oh God, why do we gotta do this? Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea how Josh could ever win anything because Josh is still looking for his first elimination win on the challenge. Like he has not even won an elimination yet.
He did. Yeah,
Why do you say that he didn't?
No, I mean the one episode he did win, he technically cheated. I think it was him and Cam versus someone. It was like World War One. I don't know. It was like I don't think you. Yeah, you wouldn't say you don't want to give it to him, but he technically has a W in that situation. So yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But he says that he doesn't even have a win in the episode.
I don't know. I just stick to the notes, Dave. That's all I do. That's all I am. All right. And in fact, we're almost done with this page. Let's get into the deliberation / chamber. I don't personally remember anything brought up really in deliberation before they vote. Maybe they're like, hey, Amber M's tiny. Let's pick on her. And Nelson's like, hey, man, she might be tiny, but she's got heart. And that's about it. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't remember anything of this part of the episode either. It was pretty
right. So Devin and Tori go in there into the chamber, find out that Amber M and Nelson are compromised. I want to mention this real quick because until then we've had a big unity in terms of teams voting with each other. Now, here's some teams that still are intact in terms of like thinking together. CT and Big T, Nam, Lolo, which isn't always the case, Jay and Teresa. But everyone else did not vote with their partner. Gabby, Natalie, Anissa, Amber B, Casey, Nani. They're all going off script. I don't know if that's all Big Brother or what. I can't really tell. But yeah, they're voted in. I don't remember anything that Tori and Devin say in the chamber, really. Yeah, I don't remember. I think they say, I think, Tori was like, well, I would want to go in against Amber M. And I think that's when Devin's like, well, we don't know for sure if it's going to be a girls' night.
Yeah.
Something like that, right? Something like that. All right, let's get into the elimination.
That's a big problem is because, they even say right here in the elimination, Tori's like, is this going to be a guy's elimination or a girl's elimination? And this is a couple episodes in a row where we don't fucking know, and they won't tell us, and I don't know why. It doesn't add anything. It just adds to confusion, and it makes it more unbearable to watch because it's like, if they know, Then we can have a legit vote and be like, oh, this is the guys' elimination day. Then you can actually have the competitors can vote in a strategic way. You can respond in a strategic way. Instead, they're like, we don't know, so we're just gonna vote in random teams because who the fuck knows? And it takes away from everything.
Yeah, it's very messy. It's very kind of thrown together. Like when they show up and they see the hall brawl, that's when Fessy was walking next to Tori and said, like, hey, I want to go in no matter what. She might have said, like, Nelson's the compromised person, and he's like, don't give a fuck. I want to go in. It's physical. It's hall brawl. Everything's perfect. Put me in, you know?
This is jam and jelly right there. He wants. That's the only thing that I can think of is he had to have wanted that hall brawl, because when he saw like the pole wrestle, that ring, he wouldn't even do that. He's like, it's like he had his eyes set on hall brawl.
Oh yeah. Okay, but the fact that he gets his wish, that he just happened to be like, hey Tori, put me in for this. You know, I think that's what stokes the fires of like, ooh, they were totally hooking up and shit like that. You know, I think that's where it doesn't help, anyways.
Yeah, maybe there's a little pillow talk where he told him, where he, where Fessy was telling Tori what was up, and I think while Fessy, he's in an alliance with Nelson and Corey, I still think Fessy, obviously because of this move, he fears Nelson. That Nelson, while he's in an alliance with him, he doesn't want to be in the final with him. So I think he was trying to kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. That works. I do remember Fessy saying like, I don't care if Wes is in the final. I just want to control the movement of the game. So maybe Fessy's legit like, hey man, I fear Nelson over Wes or something like that. Who knows? But you mentioned about how TJ, like they even say, they're like, we don't know if it's a male or a female thing. And TJ's like, that doesn't concern you. Yeah, we don't have to tell you, basically. I was like, that's shitty. Like, fuck you, you know? It's almost like saying, like, so is it a female or male day? Well, if you have to ask, you're not going to get an answer or something like that. You know, some bullshit line. And I was like, oh, fuck you, TJ, 1,000 times. Let it be known.
The producers are just, they're like, oh, we're undecided because we're not going to let you know because we're just going to kind of, we have some Wizard of Oz man behind the curtain over there, and he's going to make the choices that, whether it's Bunham or Murray or whoever. I don't even know who produces the show anymore. Isn't it? I don't
know. But, okay, yeah, I do agree. You know, it's very just like, maybe TJ has an earpiece. It's like, well, today's a male elimination, that sort of thing. Yeah, I totally see that. Just the way that they legit asked, as if like if there was any other show, they're like, hey, what is this, female or male? You could imagine some other host, some other show saying like, hey, there you go, you're using your noggin. It is in fact male, and here's why. You know what I mean? This show's like, we don't have to fucking tell you shit. Fuck you. Put it, like I hated that shit. So Devin was like, this isn't worth it. I already have my skull. I don't want to go in again. And Tori, just who do you want to put in? And we'll put them in. So she's like, well, Fessy has this red hot request, let's just throw him in and shit,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we have Fessy versus Nelson, and let's talk about round one. What happens? Is it a pleasant thing to watch, Dave? Round one?
I don't remember exactly what happened in round one and round two. What round was it where Fessy, he gets on top of Nelson, and then he's like lifting up his visor. He's putting his fucking hands in his eyes, throwing sand in his eyes. He's trying to fucking choke him out. He is just like, dude, you can beat him, and he's just being the dirtiest motherfucker ever. Like, not only is he choosing to beat the guy who is his friend in his alliance to go against him, but he's playing dirty as hell too, and it didn't seem necessary at all.
No, it did not. He already has his ideal competition, the hall brawl, but he does that to, yeah, it's really cold. It's definitely a heel turn. When he says, I don't care, I want that $1 million, I believe him. But then parts of me is like, dude, you're not going to get $1 million. You know, I'm not the kind of asshole who's like, yeah, but what about after taxes? No, I mean, like, literally, you're not going to get that $1 million in a check at all. You're probably going to get like $500,000 because you're going to have a partner. There's probably going to be a male and a female winner, right? So I don't know. I'm like, it's not. You're willing to do anything to win, and you're burning down the house around you. You're burning bridges. You're going beyond the pale physically against Nelson. You know, like he was already bigger than Nelson. Nelson was already on the ground, right? Yeah, it felt like Nelson. He was trying to beat Nelson down so that by the time he did sprint, that would be over. And Fessy did win, but only by like a fraction of a second too.
Yeah,
Remember
I
that,
thought
Pat?
Nelson won it. Like watching it, then I was like shocked when it said Fessy had it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And right away, parts of me shuts down when I see, you know, diminishing returns. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just saw Nelson tragically lose in Hall Brawl the previous season. So by the time that, you know, Fessy won the first round, parts of me like started to like, okay, yeah, Nelson's going to lose. And it's going to be sad. You know what I mean? Like right away, I was just kind of like packing my things up. I'm like, all right, it's all over. You know, shutting the lights off and shit. Like, I'm ready to go to sleep because I'm like, it's fucking over. And sure enough, because all those things that we were talking about, all the weird, dirty moves, that was mostly in round one. Round two, I don't remember too much really. I think it was done really quick because Fessy was like, well, I at least need this one win because I already won the last one, you know? And it's done like that.
Yeah,
It's
like
sad
in
once again.
round two, Nelson just kind of grabs a hold of his foot. He reaches back to kind of grab a hold of his foot to kind of hold on to it, but he wasn't really able to do anything with that. And Fessy just runs and hits the bell and wins that one convincingly. But yeah, Fessy beat him down in the first round. It was like it was like one thing to like choose to go in the elimination and beat Nelson. And you know what? Nelson's a super nice guy, and Nelson would probably have forgiven him had he just gone in and beaten him. But Fessy had to be like so fucking nasty, and just like the way he played it, the way he's just lifting up his visor and sticking his hand in there, slamming his head down, throwing elbows on him, putting his arm around his neck. The way he's
Didn't he
doing
like
all
body
that shit.
slam him too? Didn't he kind of
Yeah.
like lift him up just to drop him down real quick?
That's right. He's just picking him up, dropping him down. He did it like 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. It's like Nelson probably would have forgave you if you would have just played it fair and square. But and then Fessy wins. And then what does Fessy do? Fessy tries to go up to Nelson and hug him like they're still friends. Like, oh, hey, man, good job. I was just like, Nelson's just like, get the fuck away from me.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, you know, yeah, Nelson's a good guy, but anyone, and especially me, I would have been like, fuck you, don't fucking touch me. And that's exactly how he was. I'm like, Nelson, you are a human being. I see myself in you, not in a gay way, but no, I like, honestly, as soon as Fessy won that first round, I'm like, Nelson's just gonna fucking lose. This sucks. Like, I don't know why, but like when you when you can look back retrospectively and see all these scenes where you're like, why did they show that? Why did they linger on Nelson for that long? Because like he was like doing the dances and doing like the, you know, the Zoolander thing, and I'm like, that's all right, but why? It turns out that's why. Everything starts to fall together as soon as you realize someone's gonna be eliminated, because I don't know, the producers, they like to edit in a certain way where like after a while you could just tell what's going to happen. You know, you could learn, you know, tell where the wind's going and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes very obvious when you're watching an episode, and then all of a sudden they're like really focusing on some certain rookie because like a lot of the rookies this year, like Leo and Meki and Gabby and the other Amber, they've gotten like no screen time at all. And the second there's an episode where they're going to be in the elimination, we're going to know like 2 minutes into the episode, it's going to be them all of a sudden to be like, how the hell did they get screen time? They haven't gotten screen time all season. And it's going to be very obvious when it's their episode.
Yeah. Sometimes someone is so boring that they just happen to be like, hey, you know that moment where you forgot to move the camera and you just happen to have them in the shot? Use that. You know what I mean? Just to give them more camera time on that particular episode so you feel like you're making a connection. When really you're just like, no, he was sitting there reading a book. And I don't know how we got that book. I thought we took books out of here. They really did. You can't read books on the challenge, by the way.
Yeah,
Don't that
like
suck?
magazines, books, like anything like that. You can't have you can't listen to a podcast.
Oh, that'd be terrible. I didn't realize this until recently, but I always have some sort of media playing, and it's mostly like podcasts. Yeah. I don't think that's healthy though for you.
Overload, Vince. You gotta learn to live in silence sometimes.
Really, Art Garfunkel? Should I?
But like,
All right, let's.
if I go into the shower, like even if it's just 10 minutes, like I always play some music or I'm playing a podcast. I'm always listening to something in the shower. Same thing if I'm driving to work. Like I'm always, I don't know. Only a psychopath is not going to listen to music in their car, right?
Yeah, like that makes me think of like Putty from Seinfeld just staring forward the whole time, not listening to music or anything.
Oh my god, dude! Like I've been on like long road trips with my dad, and my dad he'll just have the radio off, and I'm just sitting there with my eyes open, like, what's happening? Why is there no music playing? And I'm like, and I'm like looking at him, looking at the radio, and I'm like, I want to see, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see how long this lasts. And I'm like, kind of playing on my phone. There's no music playing, and then after like 20 minutes, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm turning on the radio, like this silent, like, and there's no conversation being had. It's just complete silence. I'm like, dude, like. He enjoys the silence. I don't get it. Like it drives me insane. Like the voices in my head are just like,
yeah. But imagine that though. None of that. You're living in a house with a bunch of camera whores who are willing to do almost anything just for like a couple extra seconds of TV appearance. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that? Having to live with Josh. Okay, mind you, he's not in the same room, but you are indeed living with him. You have to deal with him. I would never go on the challenge. As much as I love it and as much of a dream it would be to be able to do those things, I would hate the bunk bed situation. Having to wake up and like, oh, I was gonna piss, but I gotta wait because CT is fucking here. You know what I mean? And I love CT, but it would just be very annoying. Where I'm like, God damn it, fuck this.
hang on, I just lost audio.
No, I have audio.
Okay, it just came back. I don't know. Maybe it's the internet.
Gosh, thank Christ. No, okay, so
yeah, living in the house, I think it would be great. I would love it. But the second I got some alcohol in me, I would be just like Devin, and I'd be like, fuck you, Josh, you're stupid. No one likes you. Like, the people I hated would know immediately. I'd end up getting into some stupid argument with Josh, and then I'd be put in elimination. Like, it'd be quick.
Okay, that's a good way to see it. I see it another way where I'm like, okay, I go on the show, and maybe some people I get along with and I could tolerate for a little bit. I just imagine the producer saying like, we've heard his fucking podcast because we hired him. He's on the show. And we're like, why podcast? Let's listen back. What's that? He rips us for everything we do? Well, not everything. But I feel like I have my points. You know, I make some good points. But I think they would be like, let's throw this guy to the wolves. let's randomly draw his name in a hat to do this physical thing, and he'll end up like hurting himself. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the producers would be out to fuck me over and give me
Oh
like
yeah.
one of the worst edits of all time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The remote control for your drone, it wouldn't even be responsive. You wouldn't even be able to get it to lift off the table. It would just be like, it's not working. And we're like, well, time's up. Sorry, Vince. You're going to send straight to elimination. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I'm like, God, the challenge would just be a fucking nightmare, man. It's terrible, horrible, right? But you would go on it.
Oh yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Yeah,
It'd be great.
I would
I would
watch you
love
on
it.
it, Dave.
I, I would know exactly what I would be in store for, and it would be just like when it happened, like, yep, not surprised, and like I don't know. They would get really mad at me because I'd be like calling shit out in the middle of stuff where I'd be like, "This is fake, bullshit." They'd never invite
you
me.
would you would bust into other people's confessionals, and you're like, "This is scripted," and shit like that, and then run back up. They're like, "What the fuck?"
Well, just like like the eliminations that take place, and then like something breaks. Remember when like it was what's his name, Brad? I think it was like Brad versus Leroy, and they were like punching each other. They had to punch through the walls or whatever. But the
Yeah.
things they had, it like the handle broke inside of it, and it wasn't working properly. And like Brad ends up losing, and he's like, "My prop broke that you gave me to use for the elimination." Like, I would be so annoyed at that stuff.
Oh yeah. See, that's why I think the closest person we ever got to that was maybe Abram and maybe Evan in a way, because Evan would always like be saying shit during the missions and performances and stuff, and producers would be like, "Dude, we're not suing you, but we're fining you because you're talking all this shit, exposing all our flaws. So we have to cut you audibly out of the thing." You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that was the thing. All right, let's move on. This is the last batch of notes. This is the last bunch of
You have a
stuff.
full page left?
No. It's this right here. This little part right here.
All right. I was like, wow, let's edit that down.
That's so good. That's so great. So if I did have a page left, you're like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I thought we were done." All right. Fessy gets the gold skull, right? And now he gets to choose. And he infiltrates Casey and Leroy. He takes Casey. What do you think about this new matchup here, right? Fessy and Casey.
I like it. I don't know, but it's like this is like a move you would make like with a couple of episodes left in the game. At this point, it's still too early because some girl who gets a gold skull is just going to steal Fessy anyways.
Shit.
You know, it's like, Fessy, you're picking your partner, but this is only going to last a week or two. Just like, I think some guy would probably steal Tori at some point. And so, like, Tori and Fessy are both kind of hot commodities because I think they're pretty good. And I mean, in all likelihood, when Tori gets her gold skull, she might just pick Fessy and she'll end up infiltrating and being partners with Fessy. I would not be shocked. Especially that they're traveling the world together and they're a couple or something. So that was news to me, and that's kind of a spoiler. And I don't want to know because now I feel like certain things are going to happen.
Don't even start with me. You have been known to fucking stumble upon, spoilers. So you've known a couple times who wins and stuff. You said you were clean this season. Are you still clean?
Yeah, I don't know. You're the one who's releasing all these spoilers about people globetrotting.
But it's kind of, that's the thing though. It's been put out there. It made I don't know. Is it headlines if it appears on like People or ET, something like that? Because Tori was like, because the preview for this episode in where those two are in a hot tub and Fess is like, I really thought she was hot. And Tori's not even talking to Fessy. She's like talking to someone else. They just happen to be in the same hot tub. Tori was like, hey, this is all bullshit. Like, we didn't hook up. The producers are trying to make a thing. Like, I was true to Jordan, the piece of shit, Yeah. So I don't know.
Well,
So
keep your
that
head
was
on
being
the
thrown out there.
tabloids, Vince. All right,
All right, that's
run
fair
the
enough.
brain.
Okay, so but with Fessy joining Casey, you said like, oh, this is more like a later move. I totally agree. Casey is Big Brother, which have to remember Fessy's part of. Um, them going together, some people would consider spreading it out a little bit. Fessy, you should have went to someone else that's kind of part of another alliance, like spread out the power, spread out the friendship and the network. You want to network as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
So Casey and Fessy, they're just part of Big Brother, so they'll work together, but there's definitely no hesitation if you're anti Big Brother, just throw those guys in. That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true. I think with Casey being such a good female competitor, I think that Fessy is just trying to set himself up because he doesn't want Anissa because Anissa, she struggles at certain things. Let's just put it lightly. She struggles at certain things. So Fessy wants to have a good partner so they can win eliminations and he can be, the power couple or the double agents again. He wants to have that control. And so that's why he's going with her. And it's understandable. But at the same time, the way this game is set up, they probably won't be together forever.
there was a lot more traction or a lot more attention to Fessy taking Casey, but really you got to again mention he also left Anissa, which is a positive move. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think for as much bad as he did against Nelson personally, if you were to look at the cold hard facts, if you were to moneyball the situation where you're like, does he get on base? That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's on base percentage, man.
Yeah, he beat Nelson, a guy who has lost before in the same elimination to a bigger dude. Nelson, who is so good of a guy, who knows? He will maybe he will fucking say like, I forgive you. You know what I mean? He's too good. He's too good of a person. I'm just saying that I think that as much as people are hating on Fessy right now, which they are, there's a lot of I've listened to our competitors and they're like, fuck Fessy, you misspelled fuck with a few words, a few letters. And you added one. Okay. Anyways. But yeah, next we have Leroy.
I do agree with that. That like if you do break it down to like its very core parts, and you take out the fact that he was a friend of his and they were in alliance together, if you just look at he saw Hall Brawl and he went and he got his gold skull, it's all positive, good things. The problem with this is the fact that he didn't go in against Joseph, which would have just been if he would have just done that, he wouldn't have had to do all this. So it's like if Fessy goes in against Joseph, he gets rid of Joseph. He could still have his friends. He could still be like super powerful in the game. But it was like he fucked up at that point, and then now this is all like course correcting, trying to fix a mistake in his past, which he's now done, but it's at a cost.
Yeah, I mean, we could say you said like he didn't have to do this, but again, he did do it. And do you think he relished in beating up Nelson in that hallway for as long as he did? Like, it is rather shocking. But again, like we're just getting to know Fessy. I felt like Fessy was just kind of like a cardboard cutout of a man last season. I'm like, he's cool, he's big, but not a lot of personality. If this is his personality, it's like fucking cold. He's so detached. He's like, I had to go against a friend, Nelson. But I did it. So
Yeah, and it works. These types of moves can work for one season and it can help you, but over the course of the next couple seasons, people are going to look at Fessy and be like, I don't want to align myself with him and vote with him because he's going to throw me under the bus. Like this is what got Wes in deep shit and Bananas and lots of veterans who have thrown a friend under the bus and people don't want to work with you coming up. So I think that'll happen to Fessy. One thing I did want to say is I don't remember if I said this to you or my girlfriend, but last week it was
Because we're so interchangeable.
well, I was talking about the challenge, and who I was talking to didn't really matter to me. It was just that I was letting the knowledge get out there. That the alliance of Fessy, Corey, and Nelson, Corey was constantly being like, Fessy, you're not telling me anything. Like, I feel like I'm blindsided. But like Fessy, while they're in an alliance together, Fessy was always trying to be the alpha dog of this alliance and always trying to assert himself as being the number one guy, not just part of a three-way alliance. Like Fessy had to be the top dog. And that's why like him like beating the shit out of Nelson. It's like it's Fessy trying to assert his dominance when it's not even necessary. It's like, dude, you won. You pulled the shady move, and you're gonna win.
Yeah.
But like, it's just Fessy just trying to flex.
Yeah. If they were dogs, Fessy was just humping Nelson's head, right? And you're like, hey, get off of him. He's a guy too.
Totally
You're not in
unnecessary.
heat. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's talk about Leroy picking Anissa. And Anissa's like, hello, my chocolate brother, or something like that. I don't know what she said, but I don't think, I don't know. I don't know. Did Leroy say something about like experiences way more, right? Which is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it
But
was Amber or Anissa, and obviously you have to go with Anissa. If I was there,
right.
I would have gone with Anissa because she at least has some protection in the form of alliances.
Not me. I would have chose Amber M.
But for all the wrong reasons, Vince. All right, you'd be like, "This means we share a bunk bed, right?"
No, honestly, like even so, I would probably go with the newbie over Anissa just because I don't trust Anissa. No one should. Anissa on her tombstone, this is morbid, it'll say, I just am going to play my game. Right?
Yeah.
Anissa is notorious for breaking off her word, just saying, like, fuck whoever it is, I'm here to win. But she never does. So, yeah, I'm surprised at you, Dave, that you would be willing to work with Anissa. Is it because it's only temporary? Please tell me so, right?
Yeah.
Because you could always, yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's definitely.
All right.
And
okay, and then
I know I would need protection from the votes, and I feel like she'd be able to garner some votes. And it's simply based off of votes. That's the only reason why.
all right, that's fair enough. Do you tell her that in person? You're like, listen, ho. Sorry. So sorry for calling you a ho, Anissa. I know you're up there in age and you should be respected as a woman, but I'm just saying you're not going to betray me. This is only a temporary partnership. Okay, finally we have Meki or Mechi. What is it? What is it?
I don't know. I correct you, but I don't know the correct response.
So the mechanic, starring someone who played Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy. Come on. Christian Bale. Christian Bale was in The Mechanic. The Mechanic is a nickname I gave Machi or Meki. So he gets Amber M. He's like, we're the two smallest people here, but who cares? I get to play or whatever. So there you go. And again, they could be big targets if the whole thing is get champions out.
Well, it's gonna be definitely her because the next episode has to be a girls' elimination, right? Because it keeps being guys' elimination.
You would think, yeah.
I don't know, unless it's like if there's another medical thing, it's like we're legit gonna have like 8 guys and 2 girls in the final if they don't switch something up.
Yeah.
So I feel like Tori wanted to go against Amber M. I feel like whoever is the double agent, if it's Casey or Anissa or whoever, Tori, I think they're gonna try and get Amber M to be the house vote, and then they're gonna go in and send themselves in. I think.
Who would have guessed that in these times the medical DQs were not going to be covered at all, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And with that, we're done. That's the end of the episode. Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And Famous Dave.
Signing off.